Hi, Scott Sullivan here. A lot of you know me as Sully. Dubb has doubled my business in the last year. You are about to go on a journey with Russ Johns. Welcome to I Love Dubb.
Well, the best thing about Dubb is the fact that I can make so many personal contacts with it, and it's so on point.
Why do I love Dubb? Let me count the ways. One, because my friend Russ Johns uses it and he knows things.
Welcome to Love My Dubb. We are I am currently at the 2022 Phoenix Small Business Expo, and it ties into the topic that I want to share today and talk to the team to actually encourage you to think about as you're developing your marketing strategies, your sales strategies, and your video strategies. Because one of the things that we often think about when we discover a new strategy or we implement a new strategy, we share it with the team, we share it with the individuals in the team, and the thing that we get is resistance. The resistance we get is, oh, so you want me to do one more thing on top of everything else? You want me to call on people? You want me to sell people? You want me to document it? You want me to? So I want to talk about the strategy and the workflow you need to consider when you implement something like this in your sales strategy and how it can actually be part of the process and make life easier for your team, make it more approachable to the individuals that are being onboarded with your video sales strategy with Dubb. Because, hashtag love my Dubb. And I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to share this information with you because I'm the number one fan of Dubb. Russ Johns here. And I want to welcome onto the screen. Let me welcome Rob. He's the partner development. Is it Rob? Is that what your title is? What is
many hats is my title. No, I'm kidding.
Man of
I'm
many
kidding.
hats. Purveyor of many things and talents. So you have a role that allows you to see a new perspective in some of the individuals that are out there in the world, putting together strategies, putting together workflows, and some of the things that are in place right now. What's the thing that you notice and the resistance that you've had to kind of work through and resolve?
Well, I think in sales in general, it's all about the initial contact, which is not a groundbreaking way to look at it, but how the strategy plays out is because a lot of the times when someone reaches out to someone, wherever they are, whatever platform it is, a lot of the times sales reps have the tendency to sell right away. We always hear the expression build rapport, but it's a little different today because you've got to build rapport with value. So in other words, if you and I, Russ, like we're both big Boston Celtics basketball fans, which I'm sure you are, right? And we both love the team. You're a big Larry Bird guy like I am. Well, maybe we connect on that. Maybe I send you a nice article about the team, what they're doing with the draft. Fantastic. But then I'm going to take that rapport that we have in terms of that commonality. And I'm going to tell you, look, I'm going to give you the Larry Bird treatment in terms of your prospecting strategy. And what does that mean exactly? Well, it means that Bird was all about practice, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take your strategy, we're going to unpack it, and we're going to start practicing the essentials that you need to start doing to really see the success. So it's about taking a piece of content and commonality that we have, relating to that, and then showing how we can use that in relation to building your strategy. So there's some understanding there. That's great. I know what you mean by that. Now let's apply it tangibly to what you do. The other thing is when you reach out to someone, when you're leading with education, value, or any kind of example where you're showing, you're recognizing what they do in the world. In other words, I'm not talking about what I'm doing. I'm recognizing, Russ, you're an expert with podcasting. Like I've watched your podcast. Unbelievable how you ask the questions or research that you do. I think a lot of people can probably learn from you what you do. And I want to let you know, I watched your most recent podcast and I loved A, B, C, and D. I'd love to talk a little bit more about that because that topic is something that I'm very passionate about as well. So really the commonality, the value, and then showing the rapport through building the value right away with what you're doing.
I love that, Rob. And I want to I want to bring in Darius because I think there's a piece of that is strategic. And there's also ways that we can think about removing the friction as it relates to the technology and some of the education that Darius shares every day at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And maybe you can expand on that, Darius, because it's so important that people understand the tools they have available to themselves and also the strategy that they can use those tools for. So Darius, talk about some of the workflows that accompany the strategy that Rob's talking about.
Right. Well, speaking of live trainings, every day at 10 a.m. I host these, and in there I always say, we at Dubb actually are huge proponents of, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Right. If it's working, keep it simple. There's one more S in there. So these methodologies all come down to the same thing that Rob is saying as well, where when you're going to use video, when you're doing an outreach, there's a tendency to just stick with, okay, keep it simple. I'm going to do the same message and not improve, not iterate. And so the workflow that we're talking about, the series, the step-by-step, it's like a system that we need to develop. And you have a system currently, right? It's sending text-based messages. It's doing your cold calls, doing your mailers, whatever that system currently is. And we don't need to replace it, right? Parts of it that are working, great. And the parts of it that need improvement, let's make incremental improvement there. We're not going to just throw everything away and build up from scratch because that's a lot more work, and that's what we want to avoid. So
absolutely.
The way Dubb has done this is, first off, in the technology itself, every system that you're going to use, your email tool, like if you're in Gmail or Outlook, there's a button right in there. So you can actually just record a video instead of typing a message. And then, so those are the types of bridges in the technology that we're providing to people, so that it's simple. It's taking what you're already doing. You're already in your email client inside of Gmail and Outlook. You're already in there writing messages. So now we're going to, instead of doing this and typing and then proofreading and stuff, we're going to click one button and then speak, which we have much more experience and are probably a better speaker than writer, which most people are. And then we're able to do that with one click. So that's really what we've done across all the technology components here. So whether it's your cell phone or recording a video and then sending the messages as well. So before, instead of uploading to like YouTube and trying to build landing pages and all this stuff, it all happens automatically now in virtually one click of the record button. So that's, I think, the biggest thing of what the Dubb technology has done to allow people to have these workflows, is by just injecting ourselves right into the workflows that are already there. People already have systems and things that they're already doing, and they'll be happy to find a little button not more than just a few inches from wherever they are that allows them to leverage video in that system. So there's the technology part of the workflow, and then there's the what I'm going to do, like what Rob mentioned, what you're going to do for that prospect, because there's the lazy salesperson, the bad salesperson. They just say, hi, I'm going to sell you something. And then you have the good salesperson that's going to say, let me take just a moment to research this person, find out who they are. And then I'm going to press this record button because it's right where I'm at. And so this is what we're talking about, building these types of systems or workflows and having them just be a natural part of our outreach. Same way we do other things successfully. You find the parts that work and then you enhance them along the way. So there's a long answer.
And that's a great answer, because I love the idea that we can actually keep what's working, enhance what we need to improve. And that's marketing all the way, is being able to adjust and refine some of the things that are working. And Ruben, you and Rob have been on the Rev Show, and I have seen you and watched you and followed you for a number of years now. And I've just seen you improve in your creativity and some of the things you're doing. So how has this workflow and strategy been adopted for you personally, and how has that helped your business and Dubb grow overall?
Well, I think one of the most fantastic ways that I've improved is just that my editor has improved. So, and also I now
Transparent.
and now also I get to work alongside Rob Botts, who is a fantastic video coach and just a general sort of sales consultant and really sales visionary when it comes to communication and just breaking that ice, building that connection, building the rapport. Even though Rob doesn't know how to spell the word rapport, he's a master, truly a master at it. So
there's no T. There's no T. There's no T on the end, right? Is it report? I don't know. I want to build report and then have a report. No, sorry, go ahead.
So, as I was making my smoothie today, and Rob and Darius inspired the following, this idea of what is the combination of sales and marketing. How do we blend sales and marketing together? And I think HubSpot invented the term smarketing, but it's really interesting because still in a lot of user experiences, you'll go to a platform and you'll see a button that says sales, and then that's going to have your CRM features, and it's going to have your sort of outreach, your contacts, and then there's a button for marketing, right? And that's a separate thing, and that's a separate department used by separate people. And I think really interesting now in our new era of sales and marketing, these things they've combined. Marketers are selling, and salespeople are marketing. And I think we've seen that not just from small businesses or solopreneurs even, we've seen it all the way up to large corporations. And I think that we're all trying to solve the same problem of how we break through the noise and how we actually get people's attention. If we look at the saddest, worst apocalyptic version of what sales looks like in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what does it look like? What do our email inboxes look like? What do our phones look like with our SMS? What about our LinkedIn messages? Are there going to be multiple filters and tabs that says promo and spam and garbage and trash, and all of a sudden our messages, we as salespeople, our messages end up in those places that frankly no one really looks at? What does that look like? These are really important questions for us to be asking ourselves. Especially here at the Dubb team, we have to be thinking about this, as sort of innovators and builders in technology, specifically for sales and marketing. So I think the question that we're all trying to answer here is how we really build rapport, not just how to spell the word.
or blend our smoothie. So the reality is that we have an opportunity here in the world today to actually make an impact, change people's lives. The industry is changing from broadcasting to relationships, and Dubb supports that idea and concept so well. And I just admire the work that you guys have done together to bring this to the community. And I for one, I believe in it. I trust it. I know that it works because I've used it, and I will continue to use it. And in my workflow, and also in my marketing, in my strategy. And here at the expo today, I'll give you a perfect example of how this can work. I was having a conversation with a web developer that has been getting a lot of requests for training videos. And I thought, that's interesting because I've got several funnels now where I use Dubb as the video feature in each series of video training. So you can actually create a mini course with Dubb, using Dubb, and you don't have to have a lot of extra technology. You don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on it. You can actually create this and build relationships and rapport at the same time. And that's where the technology has really evolved, is how can I create something amazing that I can build an impact and rapport in a relationship immediately. So Darius, maybe you can walk us through some of the things that you have seen transpire over the technology and in your training sessions. What are people asking for, and how has Dubb solved their problems?
That's actually really interesting because what the problem people want to solve is the, time-consuming nature of business development, right? They want the personalization at scale. And so people will say, well, hey, look, there's this sort of robot technology, this AI, this thing, this system that will do a thing with your voice, and then it changes your lips and voice, and it says somebody's name. So it looks like the video is saying, hi, hello, John, hello, hello, Rob. And I'm like, well, anyone that actually watches that, it's going to have the opposite effect, because instead of thinking that this video was made personally for them, they're going to know that you use some technology to like put the robot voice of the thing to make it try to like trick them into thinking it was personalized. And so literally the opposite effect happens versus if you just actually did an authentic video for one person. And so I think that part of the problem the problem people think they're trying to solve is, look, I need this personalization at scale, but it's sort of like being like trying to lose weight while being heavier at the same time. It's like a conundrum or an oxymoron, because the true personalization is at a personalized level where you've done this little bit of research on your person. Now, what Dubb has done with the technology is enabled you to get that little bit of personalization plus the pre-recorded parts, the buttons, the elements of your message that would already be there at one time. So I think that we're solving a problem for people that they don't yet realize that they have, because everyone's trying to do this thing where they're trying to do this like sort of false personalization at scale. People are looking for that. But it's not actually a thing that's going to benefit them. It's going to hurt them. So we encourage more custom stuff with the benefit of having the pre-recorded components and pre-built elements like videos that are generic, right? Educational things, testimonial videos, and then buttons or links for them to take action. Those things are all pre-built or pre-recorded, but the message itself is actually customized for the person. So that's what the technology's done, is people able to scale that personal effort with pre-recorded and pre-built technology.
It sounds almost like the slow and steady outperforms the quick and overnight. The overnight success that took 12 years.
These days, it is seeming to more heavily weigh toward that, because like a bulk email situation where you buy a list and you send an email to 10,000 people, the likelihood of that having much success is very, very low these days. Yeah. Before you'd get that mail to 95% of those people's inboxes and they would see it and they weren't so inundated with so much noise. And so maybe that worked one day, but these days, sending mass blanket cold emails to people is going to have a very, very low likelihood of success, and probably actually won't have a great ROI. Like, you're going to purchase the list, you're going to clean it, you're going to put this effort, and probably not get a lot of result from it. So yeah, to quote someone earlier, they said, slow down to speed up. Slow down your stuff to speed up. So that's sort of where we're in the direction of that, I think.
Well, I'm here to promise you, and this comes from experience, that sending 1,000 emails blasting out to somebody is not as effective as personalize 100 emails to your community. And the response you get to personalized emails far outweighs the performance of spamming anyone, or even to a warm list.
Even to a warm list.
The personalization outweighs it, Darius. So I totally agree with you.
Absolutely.
And hopefully that's been your experience as well.
Yeah. I mean, so we were talking workflows here. The topic of this call is having that personalized component be a part of your outreach, where you're making that a part of your message every single time, or most of the times, especially when it's new, right? Top of funnel people that are not knowing your stuff yet. That's where you really want to hit them with that personal approach. And then you can leverage your pre-recorded content. That's where we make it easy. Because even like LinkedIn and other channels, that you can do little personal video stuff, but what the Dubb technology's done is allow that to be so much more: the tracking, the playlists, branding, etc. So
yeah, I love that. I want to ask Rob to expand on, recently on the last, well, I don't know if it was last Rev show, but it was a recent Rev show on the philosophies of sales. You talked about, I think it was 7 philosophies that you and Ruben went through. And how do you see the philosophy of sales aligning with the opportunity to actually join Dubb and kind of mix those? Or is there any one philosophy that actually works more effectively than others?
Yeah, there's a new philosophy. It's called youism. That's exactly what it is. There's all these other philosophies, but there's youism, and youism is very straightforward. You. So, you got nihilism, you got all these other things, right? You got, all these different things. Ruben's a big philosopher guy. We could all put our beards on, but it's not really going to help in terms of what's happening right now. The reason we did the breakdown on the philosophies is because, like Darius said before, we want to meet you where you are. A lot of people have different, obviously, opinions and views on things, but it's really taking the you in every part of those philosophies and the authenticity and bringing it to where they are. The philosophy of sales in general, it's about connection. It's about really, really reaching out to someone, stopping them with what they're doing and saying, wow, that person just said something very interesting. That makes me stop and think. Not a lot of that happens. I think we get so caught up in touch points. Then what does the actual touch look like? Is it garbage? Is it good? Is it, something like when you see a pop-up, do you want to immediately move it out of the way? Well, we want that pop-up to stop and say, wow, that's interesting. That's very personal to me. So I think you can take any one of the philosophies we talk about in the Rev Show, and you can really apply youism to every one of those. And then you can apply the one that works best for you.
I love that. I love that. Hey, Ruben, I want to wrap up before we run away and I get back to the expo here. I want to make sure that, some of the things that you have learned over the last, say, 4 years that have maybe changed your perspective on the philosophy, the strategy, the workflow, and some of the things that as a business owner and, somebody that serves a large community of Dubb fans like myself, what are the main topics that you really want to share with the community today to make an impact on their workflow and their strategy and their philosophy going forward?
Well, the first is to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. So I'm super grateful to the Dubb team. And, Rob and Darius have taught me a ton on this journey. When Darius and I started 4 years ago, it was just a rough idea. It's just a rough idea. Now we're co-founders of this software company that's used by people all over, and it's a really humbling experience. And I would say that's the first thing. I would say the second thing really is what Rob talks about, which is this idea of youism, and this idea of we're all different. We all look different. We all sound different. Our backgrounds, our ideas, our hopes and fears, they're all different. And that's what makes us unique, So it's like taking our differences and then having those be our superpowers and part of our personal brand. That's really a big part. I think unfortunately, a lot of people don't really embrace that because they might find a coach or they might find someone, online, and they might see Russ Johns with a big beard and say, hey, why can't I grow a big beard like that? And then they try to be Russ Johns and they can't grow the beard, the perfect beard that Russ Johns has. And then as a result, they get insecure and then they can't do it and then they fatigue and so on and so forth. So, I think it's about youism to Rob's point.
I'm going to have to share that out a little bit more and make some memes out of it. So yeah, I really love it. Well, I really appreciate you guys. I can't say enough about Dubb, and I can't say enough about the team. Like you said, Ruben, surround yourself with smart people, and I feel honored to be here, and it's just humbling to know that there are solutions out there for business owners. And if you want to be able to make an impact, build a relationship, create a strategy that works for you, I would love to have a conversation with you and help introduce you to what Dubb has to offer, because it's a phenomenal solution. It encompasses more things than you can imagine. So I really want to make it not complicated and overwhelming, but very simple. And like Darius said earlier, start where you are, work with what you have, and let's build on that workflow, that strategy, and make your business more profitable and more productive. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Rob, Ruben, Darius, have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone. And look forward to seeing you next time on #LoveMyDubb, the Love My Dubb Show. So thank you.
Yeah. And then Russ, what's the URL that people can go to sign up to Dubb?
You could sign up for Dubb. There's a link on lovemydubb.com, and you can
There it
also
is.
sign up to dubb.com/r/Russ Johns.
Perfect. So lovemydubb.com. Go there, and then when you need
In the upper
support,
right-hand corner, the upper left-hand corner, there's a button that takes you right there. On the
Perfect.
lower of the page, there's another button that takes you right there. So
perfect.
you got a couple of options.
Yeah, I was also going to say, if you feel like you need pro support, RussJohns.com is the place to go. We recommend so many people to Russ that need assistance, real true consultation, strategy, white glove treatment on how to develop videos, how to produce them, how to get them out, how to develop automated workflows, and so many other things. So to you, Russ, I lift my glass of my smoothie, and I appreciate you. And I'm going to go Google on how to spell the word rapport.
Love you guys. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week. And as always,
Love my Russ. Love my Russ.
Kindness is cool and smiles are free.
That's right.
So you enjoy the day. Take care.
Yes.